Hi, Street Fight Politics world. It's Doc Eddie here. I've decided that it's late in the day, late in the year. We're going to make this an abbreviated session, but just talk about some of the things that I think we should be thankful for living in this country. Last year is like, if you're on the progressive side of the political spectrum, it was just a disaster. There was no discounting that. But looking forward, I think we're starting to see some signs that it may not be the complete Handmaid's Tale disaster that we thought it was. I mean, fortunately, the institutional checks and balances look like they're starting to be put in place. I mean, I think that when you have somebody literally born in Africa, this now the titular president of the United States, I think a lot of people are getting really upset with that. And I know 45/47 is going to eventually can because he cannot sit in a shadow. We have looked, around, and the thing that we look at the Democratic Party is they just got killed, and there is no doubt that things need to change. And the main thing that needs to change is people that are my age and older need to get up and get out of the way. It's like I've still got plenty to offer. I'd like, frankly, to run for something, but it's time that we started getting young voices, the energy and the ideas that they have. That doesn't mean that, we're going to let them run rampant and roughshod, but they need to be the ones out leading this. We're in a war for America's soul. And, we don't fight it with 70 and 80-year-olds. You don't fight wars with geriatrics. You put out the young people, and they're led by the lieutenants and the majors and the colonels, not generals and admirals. And that's what we've got in the Democratic Party, is nothing but generals and admirals. And they are woefully out of touch. If we're going to be in position to do something about it, we need people that are going to be willing to really fight. And that means you can't be sitting on your hands, playing by one set of rules when the other side has no rules. We just got back from France 3 weeks ago, and it was amazing to go around the country and not watch the news. And when we had to own up that, we're from America, that they're genuinely curious about how we put ourselves in that position. The only thing I can say is that incumbents worldwide lost every election. Inflation and its effect on the average person was a bigger deal than the Democrats recognized. They sat in Washington. They wanted to say, "Oh, the stock market's great," and we've done all these wonderful things. Well, yeah, you did all these wonderful things, but you didn't get the word out. And as far as the stock market, most people don't own stocks. That's not the way they measure what's happening in the economy. And if you look out in the real economy right now, things are starting to look pretty sketchy. You've got the auto industry that they're coming up on record backlogs of unsold cars and trucks included, which is just amazing. I mean, Dodge Ram currently has a average wait time of 430 days to sell a truck. Year and a half they're sitting on the lot unsold. That's a problem. We haven't responded correctly to EVs. China's eating our lunch doing this. Japan recognized it, which is why they're forcing Honda and Nissan to unite, because they don't want to sacrifice one of the two companies. They want to keep their industrial base, something that we've wanted to do. But where do we go? Right now, we can do nothing but sit and wait. That's all we can do. We have to wait, get to January 20th, let the shit show start, and then respond. And we're not going to be able to respond immediately. It's going to be a flurry, but that's where I'm hoping that the Republicans will keep shooting themselves in the head. And I'm going to stay out of the way and let them continue to shoot themselves in the head. I mean, for God's sakes, they had a layup with funding pediatric cancer research. Who could be against that? Well, guess what? Rand Paul was. And so his one vote in the Senate took pediatric cancer research money out of the continuing resolution, $200 million. And this was because this Nazi figure from South Africa, who's now the world's richest man, spent $250 million to buy himself a president and decided to throw a hissy fit, and we're going to get rid of things that we don't like. And one of them apparently is pediatric cancer research. The good news is we did get it back in, but it's something that was put back in because the Democrats used legislative tools to get it in at the end of the session. One of the good things that we have is Biden finally is decided he's going to go out with a fight. And that fight means that he did nothing but put judges in all over the country that were young, progressive, of color, weren't millionaires, every last one of them, somebody that actually, might have something in common. And that's going to be key to what we're going to be doing during the next 2 years for sure, and 4, because every time the Q Trumpicans come out with some insane thing that they're going to try to pass, Trump signs it, and we're immediately going to go to one of those judges and get an injunction from it being implemented. And we're going to tie them up in knots. That's the good news. He also decided that he's going to stop playing by those rules, that there are no rules. Yeah, he pardoned his son. It's unfair, but it's also something that if I were in the same position, I would do. What he did do is he started commuting sentences left and right, including 37 out of the 40 prisoners on death row in federal prisons. So Trump's not going to be able to come in and immediately start this parade of people that he's killing, to satisfy the bloodlust of his base. The people Biden didn't commute, I mean, they're pretty bad. I mean, it's like, frankly, I don't have a problem with it. We also have him putting up lots and lots of roadblocks for Trump to do anything once he gets going. There's the wall, all the material that was left over from 4 years ago has been sold off. So it's like he can come in and say, we're going to start on the wall. Well, guess what? Where are you going to get the material from? Back to the economy and the things that people really care about. Unfortunately, things are going to be worse. I mean, we all know it's going to be worse when Trump takes over. One, the price of eggs, they're going through the roof. And it's not because of what any politicians is doing. It's because there are 50 million chickens that have been slaughtered in the last month or two because of avian bird flu. So that means there's no chickens around to go ahead and lay eggs. And it's only going to be worse when Trump takes over. I wouldn't be surprised if you see egg prices go toward $10 a carton. And you talk about being people just going out of their minds. Drill for gas. I mean, the gas companies and the drillers have already told them, we're working flat out. We've got all the leases that we want. We're at max capacity. We're drilling more oil than we can use. We're exporting oil. That's the good news. Anyway, if we're sitting here, we're going into Christmas. I wish each and every one of you that you celebrate this holiday in the manner that, befits you and your family. And that's all we can hope for. I'm going to sign off now. And we'll come back at the end of next week with a recap of the year. And hopefully we'll have Harry and Ken and Louie with me. And until then, good day.